Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Build Your Copywriting Business podcast. Hello, friends.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Hello. As always, I am joined by my both gorgeous and deeply
Oh,
intelligent co-host,
I
Kate
love this.
Spitars. And they're
Hello,
both true.
hello. Thank you. Wow.
Hello. Hello.
This is why I
Uh,
do the podcast.
for all the compliments. And they're all true. And Kate and I have the pleasure of being joined by Elyse Hines, who is a copywriter, of course, a CCA student, a CCA Next Level member, and all around really fantastic person that we are very excited to talk with today. So, hello, Elyse. Welcome.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
We are so happy to have you. We were saying before we started the call, this is another one we're like, oh, this is a little overdue. How have we not talked to Elyse before and gotten her story? So it is high time we rectify that mistake.
I know. I actually meant to write to you guys about being on a podcast, right? But I guess I never just got the guts to do it, and you guys did it first. But um, like we were saying a little bit, like prior to the to starting the interview, like I am the self-proclaimed president of the Turtle Club, and sometimes I say that in a student group. And so I feel like it's also very on brand for me. So I'm here now. It's all good.
Baby steps. It's baby
Slow
steps.
and steady
And
wins the race, as they
exactly.
say. The tortoise and the hare.
That's,
You're
ooh,
winning.
good point.
Very
Good
much
point.
so.
Yeah. Well, then, let this moment of kismet make it easier to move out beyond that as well. So let's actually go all the way back to the beginning because I know we have a whole lot to cover today. But what is your background? And then how did you get interested in copywriting?
Yeah. Are you ready for this one? I feel like I have a very long answer. I don't know how much in depth
Perfect.
you want me to get, but I feel like there's like no
In
way
the weeds.
around it.
Give
Just
Okay.
it
in
to
there.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a couple detours, maybe more
Yay.
than a couple, because I have a weird background. I have a very sinuous background. I never really knew, like, I was always a strong writer, right? It was something that I knew that I had, that I was, but never actually even considered being a writer for a living. Like, didn't even, wasn't gonna be
Okay.
like the next Hemingway, wasn't like such a book nerd either. Like, sure, I'll read a book once in a while, but it was never top of mind that I could be a writer one day. I just, in school, was like a good writer, and that's something that I do. I didn't really like math, I didn't like science and all of that, but languages came easy to me. If you didn't know, well, I know you guys know, but for listeners, if you can't hear it, French is actually my first language. So I'm based in Montreal and I do work in French and English. So, went to school, la di da da da, but it was a bit of a was a bit of a lost soul. Didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, and kind of just did things automatically. I was good in school, so I knew I had to go to school and like get a degree in something. So I wanted something challenging that was going to open doors because I didn't know what to do with my life. And so I eventually in university I studied law. Halfway through my bachelor's degree, realized I did not want to be a lawyer. I was very unhappy with where I was. Like yeah, I was searching for meaning. I don't know. So I just figured that I would finish my bachelor's degree just to have a good degree and then I would figure it out. So I didn't go to law school. I found a job as like an assistant to two like entertainment lawyers in the meantime, just to like make ends meet. I wanted to get my own apartment and start my life, but didn't really find purpose. And eventually started like volunteering for this like animal protection organization and eventually got a job at a big organization in Montreal as an animal protection officer. So it's still law related, but it's really like law enforcement. And that was like really deeply meaningful work, you know? Really, I thought I was like, this is it. Like, this is my identity now. Like I found my purpose. I love animals. I'm helping to protect them and have their rights progress and all of that. And so I really thought I had found what I was going to do. But the reality is that I burned myself out completely. So I did that for a few years. Like I worked for that organization for almost a decade. But I was truly burned out. And I was lucky enough that I was working with people who appreciated, like I had a good relationship with. They appreciated my work, I appreciated them, and they allowed me to like kind of move within the organization. And when I had really one case that was really, really hard on me, and it was really like the the cherry on top in a bad way of like what made me break a little bit. And so after that, I got a position that was a bit different. Like the organization was looking to get an accreditation, like quality control stuff. So I became like a project manager for that for a little while. And then the pandemic hit. And so it flipped everything upside down. And I think that's like a classic, right? Like I was listening to other episodes, but like everyone at some point it were like, and then the pandemic hit. It's like a rite of passage for everybody. So that project wasn't a priority anymore because we just really wanted to stay afloat. And I was working from home a lot more. And working from home actually like gave me the opportunity to pause a little bit because when I was previously as an animal protection officer, I was always on the road writing reports, knocking on doors, doing investigations and whatnot. And so I was always on the go. And so when I paused is when I started feeling my feelings and started feeling like I had to pivot. I had to do something. Something had to change. I couldn't go on that way. I wasn't happy. And that's, I guess, when I started to look for something else that I could do. Also to amp up my revenues a little bit, I guess, like with, I don't know, the pandemic hitting and all of that, it brought some like different anxieties that I hadn't
No.
experienced before. So, anywho, so I believe I don't remember exactly how it happened, and I wish I did. Some of this part of my life is a bit foggy still, but figured that I stumbled upon the CCA ad on Facebook or something like that. And I was really looking for a way for something that was, at first at least, it very much evolved, but I was looking for something easy that I could do and that would like be financially smart, I guess, like to better my situation. And I was like, wait a minute, like I can write, like I can totally write, right? Like that's easy for me. That's always been the easy things for me. Even like throughout my jobs, people would come to me sometimes for writing things, translating things, and whatnot. So when I saw the ad, I was like, okay, like maybe I can do this. And so I started looking at the program and the videos, and it didn't take that long to like sign on. I was like, I'm working from home. I can take the time. Like things are quieter a little bit for now, for me at least. And so I'm gonna try. And when I listened, well, to you, Nikki, because you were the video that was coming up once you got interested and like started clicking. And it seems so sincere, like it seems so genuine and also you straight shooter, you know? It wasn't like, oh, you're gonna get $1 million in 2 months and blah blah blah. And like, so I was like, and you need to do the work, right? But if you do the work and you keep going, then you can't fail. It's gonna happen, but it's not gonna be easy all the time, but you can do it. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay. So signed up, started doing the program, and eventually that doing the program is what allowed me to shift again within the same organization. So I went into comms and marketing. So I got a different position at the same organization, but in fundraising. And that's when I really started, like working with agencies and like actually writing copy and editing copy. And my knowledge of the organization that I'd accumulated through all these years, plus the CCA program, was what really allowed me to do a great job. And I was really having the time of my life. Like I was really enjoying that position for a while, and then I got pregnant. So I went on maternity leave. And during my maternity leave, like the last few months of my maternity leave, because in Canada we're lucky and we have long leave if we wish to, that's
What's
when I
that
started
like?
yeah, that's when I started working on my website and my portfolio and started like ramping things up a little bit. And when I came back to work, some changes had been made. The leadership was different, and I never really felt like as I don't know, like at peace with the work anymore. Like some things, there was like a mismatch, and it was really no one's fault. But it also kind of gave me like the little push I needed to start freelancing full time. And so eventually when I'd had it, I was like, okay, no, I can't do this anymore. I'm unhappy. That's when I took the leap and I started freelancing. And actually, I'm happy to say that they're like, I left in good terms. And even though it was like a bit rocky at some points, like they're still a client of mine. And I work with them on a like semi-regular basis to help them out when they have rush periods. So I'm super happy about that I still get to like help and stuff. But yeah, that's where I'm at. That was a long story, but sinuous one. But yeah, and I also feel like I didn't really realize how much I had missed writing until I started writing again. I had really missed that creative side. Like when I first wanted to get that position in fundraising, some people at least, I think were a little surprised because I was always the person who was like logical, analytical, like law enforcement, regulations
Yeah.
and procedures and all of that. And I was like, actually, you know what? Like, I missed a creative. Like when I started doing the program, I was like, I miss writing. And I didn't even realize. And I was actually like driving. I was on a drive yesterday, realizing this, like listening to previous podcast episodes of like colleagues from the CCA and stuff like that to get in the right mindset for today. And I'm only realizing now that I think that I'm going to get a little bit like therapy session on you guys,
Okay,
but like
please.
Awesome.
tell me if
Bring it on.
TMI. But I think I've realized that rigidity and that structure that I seemed past tense to crave so much was like a coping mechanism because I was working in environments that were so chaotic that I was always the one trying to bring structure and trying to bring order and trying to do things the right way and trying to, like build a good base so that we can build upon. And I was, yeah, kind of in like survival mode in that sense, that it was like my way of coping with everything. And when I started writing again, and even more so now, that part of me it was able to like calm down and the creativity was able to come back, which was is such a good feeling that I appreciate now. And I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I am creative. I guess I'm saying this also for people who are like, I don't think I'm like this big creative, like clever person who's like always with the wits and the jokes. And then like, that's okay. Like you can be surprised actually like when you're in a right place at the right time, like that creativity, it's probably there. Maybe you just need to give it more space. And yeah, I thought that was worth sharing. A little
Absolutely.
introspection moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it makes a lot of sense. As you were talking about being an animal welfare advocate, I was also thinking, so we've interviewed other students who are social workers and even in some instances, the teachers who've had just you're doing such a wonderful thing for the world, for the community, for the world. And it's a good, but it's draining. I mean, that takes a lot out of you emotionally, mentally, and on top of that, trying to keep everything in line. That's like, no kidding. You were done and ready to move on.
And I still have so much gratitude for like the people who are still in those in those positions. I mean, some people that were working there before me are still there, right? So
Yeah.
really to each their own. And like I think those people are wonderful and so strong. And sometimes I feel privileged that I get to do what I do now. And when I do, I think about those people because I know I worked hard to get where I'm at and build my business and all that. And we can
Yes.
get into that later. But I do feel grateful for those people because without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. And so yeah, definitely very grateful, but it did drain me into that. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, it's a beautiful calling, but that's a lot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about your business now. What does it look like? What does a day look like for you? I mean, I don't know if I can say typical day, if there's ever a typical day for a copywriter, but what does that look like now?
Yeah, so it's just me. Here it is. This is my business. But no, a typical day. Actually, you know what? You know what I was able to do this morning that I wouldn't have been able to do before? Is that I went and I drove my son to daycare and then realized once I dropped him off that he had like a swimming, like splash pad activity today and totally did not bring his swimsuit. So I was able to come back, get his swimsuit, drive back to daycare, bring it for him so that he wouldn't be all wet in his
Yeah.
only clothes today. And brought my dog along, Silver. Silver comes along and drives his little human to daycare every day, and he very much enjoys it. And then got to take a walk with Silver at a park near my house that has like a little artificial lake, and he dips his toes in it and he gives the zoomies, and I think it's the cutest thing ever. And yeah, and I was able to do that. So that's like a typical morning for me now.
Nice.
And then I get home, I make myself a coffee. If I'm feeling generous, I make one for my husband. And then I get to my computer and I take some emails and I do some work and I answer questions. And maybe, depending on what my projects are, I do have a pretty large variety of clients. So I'll work with, I haven't niched and I'm very happy with myself for not niching because I love the variety of work that I get to work on. It keeps me fresh and on my toes and I get to learn about different industries and so I like that. I do have some like recurring contracts and things, but I also have like more spontaneous projects that come up on a less regular basis. And so, yeah, so depending what I'm working on, that might shift a little bit. But then at the end of the day, I I don't know. I close my computer and then work stays there. Work stays in my office and the next day I do it again. And then sometimes I get to have like work days away with friends. So we do sometimes like home. I have a really close friend of mine who's an entrepreneur and she's like that girl. She's like that girl who's like a co-founder of a tech financial thingy and I'm still trying to understand what exactly she does, but it's like payment world anywho. And sometimes we do work days away together with our dogs and that's super fun. And we're still very productive and we work, but we get to do it together once in a while. And so that's a nice way of like keeping your circle close and like enjoying relationships. I get to enjoy my house. I get to enjoy my house that I'm paying for. Your girl's got a
Yes.
mortgage.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah, and not sit in traffic anymore. And yeah, and sometimes I'll go see clients and work with them and build relationships. I'm lucky that some of my clients are like pretty close to me. I'll do that once in a while and maybe I bring treats and all the good stuff. So, I mean, it still feels weird to me to say that I have a business, right? Like I don't, like I feel like the business is me. It's me working. But that's pretty much a typical day. And I'm very much pleased with myself that these are my typical days now. So Mhm.
I love that. I'm going to start using that. I'm enjoying my mortgage right now. I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But
Like, and that's expensive. Like rent,
yeah.
even if you're in an apartment or whatnot, like rent is expensive. If you live in a nice, cute apartment that you love, like you should
Yeah.
get to spend time in it.
I'm with you.
But I mean, I'm also the very like, even though I'm like yapping a lot right now, that's okay. Like I'm in my house, I'm comfortable with you guys, but like I'm very much the introvert person that extroverts adopt and like drag places. So so yeah, so that's very like yes, enjoying my mortgage also feels like very very on brand and turtle like for me. Yes.
I love it. I love it. I don't think you're a turtle at all. I'm curious though to dig into, if you don't mind, digging into your
Mhm.
transition to freelancing. So when you decided to make that transition, what was that like? Did you have any freelance clients? Was the organization you were leaving, I know you still work with them. Was that kind of your first client on a freelance basis? Tell us all the things.
Hey there, it's Nikki. I wanted to take a very quick minute to make sure that you knew about our free on-demand copywriting training. Now, whether you are brand new to copywriting or you've been doing it for a while, but you just can't seem to hit those income goals, this training is for you. You are going to learn the 3 secrets to landing freelance copywriting work without relying on frustrating job bidding sites like Upwork or Fiverr, or without cold calling strangers. And if you've watched any of the student success stories on this channel, and if you haven't yet, check them out. This is the exact same training that they all started with. And I mean students like Kate K, who is making 6 figures working part-time and retired her husband to help her build her business. Students like Stuart, who replaced his full-time salary, which was a good one, with his freelance income and then some. Stacy, who hit 6 figures in her first 6 months as a freelance copywriter, and Ashley, who landed the in-house copywriting job of her dreams. They all started with this free training, and you can start with this free training too. So sign up right now at freecopywritingtraining.com.
Okay, yeah. So I really ramped up pitching obviously before leaving.
Mm-hmm.
I think to be completely honest, like when I left my job, I was kind of at my wit's end. I needed to get so uncomfortable that it felt like my only option.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really honest. Like I'm that
Mm-hmm.
person. I remember when I studied law in university and I wasn't going to law school, everybody was like, but you're so brave for doing that and taking the path like on a walk or whatever the saying is, like taking a anyways, the
The
path that
road
no
less
one's going
traveled.
on.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you. The less travel. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. And like you're so like courageous. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like if I go to law school, I may not survive. Like I'll get through it, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be miserable. Like I physically cannot do it. And I feel like with my transition, it was kind of a similar thing where I was like, I can't do this job anymore. I'm feeling miserable every day. And so I have this option. And so this is it. Like, I'm going to do it. And so I ramped up my pitching and I went a little bit off script, you guys. I don't know if you're going to be happy with me or not. Maybe, maybe not.
We
But
can't be
I did
unhappy with you.
like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. You tell me. But I mean, no regrets because it kind of worked. But because I
Yeah.
did the regular pitching, right? Like is taught in a program, and that
Mhm.
definitely helped me. And it helped me like get out of my comfort zone and not be afraid of writing emails to strangers and like cold emailing, but still doing my research and all that. And I definitely learned so much. And I got some responses and clients from the pitching that you guys taught, but I also went like the LinkedIn way. So I was a spammy person on LinkedIn but I did segment properly. So I did like by industry and targeted like a certain kind of people and I would personalize all the messages. So I sent a lot,
Yeah.
but I did personalize and personalize enough that I got a few contracts that way. So like my first retainer was actually I in the pet industry, which made sense from like my animal shelter background, definitely came from there. And yes, my old employer was also like one of my first clients, but then those were the two ways that like I really ramped up my pitching. And I also was applying to jobs on LinkedIn. So either they were like content jobs or like translating, because I do French and English. So for marketing, if it was like marketing related, I would apply to like part-time positions. And actually I'm going to say the first like real big, like living wage client that I got was from doing that. So I applied to a part-time position and they sent me a test that I did. And originally it was for transcreation. So, really for like adapting English copy to French copy, but while keeping like the messaging and the intention and the emotion behind it, right? And so I did a test and they liked it. It was a very short test, or else you ask her to be paid. Yes, I learned.
Yes.
Yes, I don't do long unpaid tests. I do not.
Yes.
But this one was very short and I
Love
liked the brand. So I was like, okay, just going to do it. And they liked it. And when it came to me, it was an employee position. But then I was like, have you considered working with freelancers? And they were like, yes, we have. We've worked with agencies in the past, but we've had like so experiences because of like employee turnover and all of that. And I was like, well, I my business is just me. So there's not going to be any turnover. And I very much love the brand and I would love to see, So we talked a little bit and they agreed to hire me as a freelance instead of a part-time position as an employee, which I was super happy about. So I feel like that was my first like big win. To this day, I'm still working with them. And as of now, I'm writing copy for them and adapting it to in French because their main market is in Canada, but also North America and Europe a little bit. So they need French over there too. Yeah, I'm super happy. And they have acquired more brands. And so my work has expanded and it's really like my main like big win. And not to like toot my own horn, but I
Toot
will.
it.
Toot it.
Toot toot.
I guess I
Lay
am.
on it.
I'm going for it. But like it's also a brand that I never thought would be accessible to me. Like it's a big cool brand. And I was like, yeah, like I was like, you have this idea that like copywriters, if you even know what copywriters are when you're like searching for meaning in your life, I don't know, but like looking at your options, like you think of copywriters, you're like, oh, well, you probably have to study marketing and then you get like this internship at this big agency where you work like a crazy person. And then eventually maybe you get to work for the really cool big brands. Yes. Like that's the idea that I had. And now I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm working for this cool big brand and I get to adapt their content and make it accessible to French speaking people. And like, that's so cool. And yeah, and I never thought that that would be in the realm of the possible for me. So I think that's win,
I
win,
love
win.
it.
I love
Well, really,
everything that you
though.
pointed out, though, because you applied to a part-time job, even though you wanted freelance, you had the conversation, like you just took all of it in stride. And then it was for, translating, transcribing. And then now you're doing like you just built upon, okay, here's this thing that you saw the possibility for what it could be if I really want to work with them, and you ran with it. And I love that. I think that's what would stop a lot of people. Oh, they're hiring, an employee and I don't want to be an employee, so I'm not even gonna bother, versus doing the thing and then just having the conversation.
Yeah. And to be honest, like when I first did that, I didn't foresee everything. Like I was taking a shot at it. Like I could have hated working with them. It could have been totally not a match. I knew that I wanted, like one of the things that I was unhappy with in my previous jobs is that I felt like I didn't have enough control. Like control also an issue for me, but that's another discussion on a different podcast. And so I knew that I wanted to take the control back. And so it's really what I wanted to do. And so to me, being an employee again meant giving that up, and I wasn't ready to do that. And so I feel like also stars need to align once in a while, and you just get your win, you know? And it's like partly because you worked for it, and partly because something was in your favor in the universe. And it's just like you do good work and they see it. And then eventually, like this happened over the course of like a few years, you know? Like maybe for the first year, I just did translation work for them. And then, whoops, a copywriter, like things changed and someone left and they had to put pieces together. And I was like, hello, I can help. And they were like, oh, cool. Just like being there, taking good care of your clients and like nurturing the good relationships, making sure that you're making things easy for them. And goes such a long way, like you wouldn't believe. Like customer service is just, I'm going off on a tangent again, but like customer service is so rare. Good customer service nowadays, I feel like is far and in between. Is that the saying? Far and few. Anyways,
few
it's
and
rare.
far between. Yes, it's rare.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I feel like if you do that for your clients, like even if you're not like this big shot, like super intense portfolio, whatever, big brand portfolio yet, if you take good care of your clients, it goes such a long way. They'll appreciate it.
Yes, to that.
Yeah. Well, we think of clients as this big company, but clients are made up of the people that we work with each day. And when just the little things that we do make their jobs easier, they definitely want to keep working with us, right? Like they like us and we do good work, and but when the things that we do make it easier for them to do their job, they're going to try to keep us as much as possible. I mean, Kate, I know you've had this experience, at least I don't know if you've had this yet, but where you're like at a point where it's time to fire a client because you're just maybe tired of it. You want to move on to the next thing. Actually, maybe at least you have. The conversations are coming back and they fight to try to keep you because you're so good and you make their job, and you're just at the point where you're like, I have to move on. I'm bored with doing this work. But it's, I mean, we always say you don't have to go the extra mile. You just have to go the extra inch. Or for our Canadian audience, you don't have to go the extra kilometer. You have to go the extra meter.
Couple of centimeters.
2.1 centimeters.
Right on. I totally understood now what you just said.
Right? I know I didn't. Why didn't I translate that before now? He was like, miles? I don't get it.
I don't know what that means.
Man, I've been alienating our audience. Oh, horrified.
No, it's actually where we use like people are always joking about Canadians using like measuring distances in time. Like it's an hour from my house instead of like the actual distance.
Yeah.
And like we use sometimes inches for our height, but then centimeters for other things, and then liters, but then kilos, but then pounds. And like it's fine. We're just
it's very confusing.
Right? That seems so complicated.
Just I think the UK, they have miles on their roads, but then everything else is much.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty, someone fact check me, but yeah, it's all confusing.
It's fine. We get it.
Yeah, exactly. I really want to drive it home to everybody listening that yes, serendipity did kind of, but you took all of the actions to allow for that to happen. There's a quote that is tucked in the back of my head, and I can only really remember a couple of parts of it, you know, along the lines of preparation makes the place, serendipity for luck, whatever. Mm-hmm. The actual quote is much better than that. But you took all the steps. It's so easy to second guess ourselves and to argue for our own limitations. You could have seen that and thought, oh, I'd really love to work with, but they only want somebody full time. So I'm not, or they only want somebody on staff. So I'm not going to bother. And, you know, there'll be times we'll see people who are saying, well, I'm interested in applying for this job, but what if this, and what if that, and what if they hire me and then this, and what if all of this kind of stuff. And you can't know until you take the action. You take the step and then you see what happens. And then you take the next step and then you take the next step. And you did such a great job of just taking those
One thing at a
steps.
time. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's a real testament to you.
Oh, thank you. And one thing I'll say too is practicing that helps. Like I feel like the program has I feel like I've evolved so much for many different reasons, like since I started to program and now because of like life events and because of what I'm doing now for work. Like I feel like I'm a different person. And I feel like one thing that the CCA has really helped me do and building my business has really helped me do is set boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, like that was a really unanticipated, like that was a big surprise for me looking back on it, that like I grew so much as a person, not just as a professional, but like I gained skills that really helped me advocate for myself more because you have no choice because people don't know what you'll be willing to do or not do. And it's nobody's fault. Like nobody's after you, but everyone works in different ways. And so eventually you have to do that. You have to say, no, I won't be working weekends, or yes, I can take this contract, but not right now. Or like because people don't know. And so just doing that in a professional and kind manner, it has really helped me in my personal life as well. Just like meeting people halfway or like problem solving, but really enforcing boundaries and knowing where I stand and knowing what I want more out of this. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
It makes sense though, right? As we test ourselves and try new things and get out of our comfort zones, it's just personal growth is a byproduct of it. And then to your point, you look back and go, "Oh, look at how far I've come. Look at the distance now between where I was and where I am now." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Good
like
for you.
copywriting skills for sure, for sure. I've gained a lot of those. I'm a much better writer now than I was, but also like life skills and skills that I'll, no matter what I choose to do next, will be helpful. And that was unexpected, but very much appreciated.
Oh, good. Good. Well, Sona, if somebody is listening and maybe they too have kind of gone through a couple of different careers and just have not found what they really want to do, maybe now they're listening and they're thinking maybe it's copywriting. What advice would you give them?
I have so many. I'm gonna try. This is the part where I'm gonna try to not forget any of them, and also try not to black out because I'm trying to say so many things at the same time, and I can't say anything. Like I see, it's happening. I I feel like there's so much. Okay, and this is all advice that I've had to tell my own self, and
Mhm.
takeaways from you guys as well. So shout out to you guys. So you can't do it all on your own, babes. You can't. You can't. And like I am this person. I've said it. I'm the introvert. I'm the lone wolf. I am that person who wants to do it all alone behind her computer because it's more comfortable. And that's fine. But and this is also something that the CCA helped me with, not to be like brown nosing, but it's too late. It's not brown nosing if it's true, is what I say. So there you go. But the group really helped me, and CCA Next Level even more so. Finding like this network of people to rely on, to ask advice, to fall back on, like a safety net. Yeah. Like when you're going
Mhm.
through something, I guarantee you have not had an original experience in your life. Like someone else has gone through it. Don't be that arrogant. Ask the question. People will help you. They're really kind. And so I'm really appreciative of all the support that the CCA has brought me just for that. And also by nurturing those relationships with your clients, like we were saying before, even if you build slowly, hello, queen of slow. Like I think I started the program in I tried to remember for the purpose of this interview, like when it was, I don't know if it was 2019 or 2020, but like it's been a long time, and it took me a long time. So don't worry about it. You just have to keep going. It's possible that you do it super slow. And I also really love that there was no timeline on the program. Like I didn't have, right? There was no like, you have to do it by this date or else nah. Like I got pregnant, bought a house, rent out. Like what do you mean? Like pandemic? No, I can't. Things happen. And it is possible if you keep going. And by nurturing those client relationships, even if it's slowly, even if you don't get a zillion clients all at once, like eventually, even if a client is no longer your client anymore for like different reasons, you're still slowly building your network. Those relationships are still like, even if you stop working somewhere, even if you stop like collaborating with someone, like add them on LinkedIn or on Facebook or wherever you are, keep in touch by email once in a while, like sincerely, like if you have something to say and genuinely you're building your network. And that's like pretty invaluable. Like I feel like I've built a professional network more and a more relevant one in the past few years than I have at any other job in all my life, just because I get to work with different people all the time. And so, and no matter what that looks like for you, like you're gonna have to get a little bit out of your comfort zone and do that and connect with people a little bit and have someone by your side who's understanding what you're going through, someone in your circle to be your soundboard and chat once in a while. And so yeah, so even though you are your own business, you can't do it alone. So that's my first advice. The second thing is, and I've touched upon it like a little bit, but it's consistency. Okay. You can see from this interview, and if you know me a little bit, like my therapist has theories about my attention deficit, even though I don't have a diagnosis. Okay, she does. And I do too. But that's okay. I've learned only in my early 30s the power of consistency. And not only in a CCA, but also like at the gym. And like, I'm going to sound like a douchey podcast girl for a sec, but like in my work, in the gym, with my financials, like investing and stuff like that, like the power of compounding, no matter what that means to you, it's true. And it took me 30 years to really like tap into that and understand it and live it, but it's true. So even if you do just a little bit at a time, even if that's not what your nervous system wants to do, like I remember Nikki saying like in the program in the early stages of it, like even if you do 10 minutes a day, that's okay. And I remember that really resonating with me because I never considered doing 10 minutes a day of anything, right? So you were like, even if you do like 10 minutes a day, like watch like one video in the morning with your coffee before starting work or whatever. And that's what I did. And it would have never crossed my mind to do that on my own while learning anything. So that was super helpful, but it's true. It becomes a habit and it takes time. So be kind to yourself. Like
the time is so true. I saw just this morning, yes, it doesn't matter when, a meme type of thing on Instagram that was talking about what you're saying with it related to the gym, but it was like, stop slowing your progress by being consistent and then taking 3 months off, something like to that effect.
Yeah.
And it's like that. So that's not consistency. Like, yeah, your gym results aren't showing because you showed up, but then took 3 months off and then came back to it. And then, yeah, it's
true. It's
up.
true. I rather go like once or twice a week to the gym.
Yeah.
And that's fine. If that's all I can do, if at certain times I can go more and I'm feeling pumped, like great. But if not, I go like once or twice a week. And I'm seeing a difference. And over time, like I'm following the steps and I'm doing the programs and I'm being honest with the person who's building my programs. It does work. And I feel like it's the type of thing where like you don't get it until you get it. Like you don't really hear it until you live it. So like start with the smallest thing and just like try your very best and just be consistent, and you'll see like even whatever it's for, like it works. Start with one thing and you'll see. And once you get it, it's like life-changing, truly. Yeah.
It is like the life hack. I agree.
It is. It
wow.
is the life hack. And for people having a hard time and with, focusing or for whatever reason, it's might be even a little more challenging, but it's doable. Because if I can learn that at 30 years old, I feel like anyone can. It's very much a life lesson worth learning. And yeah, so that's the two first ones. I have two other ones, and now I know what they are. So I have listen, really listen. Like once you're working as a copywriter, your job is to listen, truly. I like to say that I tell that to my clients too. When I'm working with like smaller clients, which I also really enjoy, like solopreneurs, like I've done a few projects for people who were like either starting their business or like building a website for their business, and they did such good work. Like I have one in mind in particular that she is an old colleague from work, but she was starting her dog walking business and dog behavior business, not just dog walking. It was more like a training along the way as well. And I helped her like find the right words. But really what I do in my kickoff calls is I tell my clients, I'm going to ask you silly questions. And it's not because I didn't do my homework before the kickoff call. I know some of the answers, but I want you to tell me. I want to hear you talking about your business. So I'm going to ask you questions to which I already know some of the answers, or I think I know, but that's on purpose. I need it from your voice and your words. And I always get like the best quotes and the best like golden nuggets from my clients. And so I tell them that off the bat, because if I just started asking questions to which they would be like, well, why didn't she like look at the website? Like that's all there. Like, so I give a bit of a, of a warning before. I'm like, I know, but I want you to talk about it. And so active listening and being empathetic. If you're good at writing and you're a good listener and you can read between the lines, and you can reframe, like you like reframing, I feel like you have like the core of what it takes to be an amazing copywriter. So yeah, listen to people and listen to your clients and be curious. And if you like to learn about their business, and what's more fun than listening to someone who's passionate about what they're doing?
Yeah.
Like it's so fun. And that person in particular, I can shout her out. Her name is Fanny. If you live around Montreal and you have issues with your dog, go to fannypack.com. And yeah, so I built her website. And after the kickoff call, and I built her website because you don't have to build websites. You just have to write copy. That's fine. You'll find work. I just enjoy messing around on Squarespace. And I did it a few times. And after she looked at the website, she was like, oh my gosh, like you really put into words, like, this is really what we are. Like, that's insane. Like, how did you do that? It's like magic, right? Like you described it even better than I could have. And I was like, yeah, because it's really hard to talk about yourself. I'm like, you're like, you become like the business bestie. You're like the mini bestie. Like it's so much easier to see the good in the people you love and like your friends and bring it out and be like, oh yeah, my friend, she's like this amazing tech CEO and I don't understand, but she's freaking amazing and she's good at everything that she does and she's so this and she's so that. So as a copywriter, you kind of do that, but for the business, and you help bring it out in a way that people understand. Yeah. I think really cool. It's quite cool.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so listen. And the other thing is, and that's thanks to you, Nikki, it's redefine your heart. Redefine your hard. I know you've said that many times on like calls. I don't know if it's in the training, but it was definitely in CCA calls, like redefine hard. Because yes, it's challenging sometimes. Like when you're pitching, there are gonna be like challenging things and you're gonna get out of your comfort zone. Or like if you like I hate doing estimates. I hate it. Like when client asks me for like quotes on a project or whatever, I hate doing that. I dread it. And every time I send one, I'm like, oh my God, is it too much money? Is it not enough? Is it even though there's a method, like I don't just pull a number out of my head. I still always doubt and I still always dread it. And then I think back and I'm like, yeah, my job, like knocking on people's doors and like removing animals from really bad situations, like in really bad shape, and going to knock on doors all day to tell people that they're not like taking proper care of their animals. Like that was hard.
Yes.
That was hard.
Yeah.
This to me, this is not hard, you know? Like sending an email or like quoting a project. No, I guarantee that if you think back on your life, there have been harder things that you've been through and survived and learned from. And so when you think that something is hard, look back on other things that were actually hard. This is okay. This is going to be okay.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. Elyse, this has been fantastic. I know people are going to love this episode. So if someone is listening and they're like, oh, maybe I want to hire her, where can people find you?
Yeah, I have a website and it's in French. I was actually debating. I was like, do I need to get another URL? And then I was starting to overthink, but I didn't. It's so it's EGHredaction.ca, but redaction means something a little different in French. It's like writing and conceptualizing. It's not like redacting, like when you're redacting information. It's a bit different. So maybe you'll remember it because of that. And I'm also on LinkedIn. So you can find me there as well. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm now on your podcast.
Yes, you are. You did it. You did it.
So probably not the first or last time, I should say. Oh, the first time, not the last time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we have plenty more to dig in with you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I wish this was like 3 hours long, but I know it can't be.
We do too. No, but truly, this has been so fabulous. Thank you so much for being here and for being willing to come on. And like Kate said, I think it will be the first of many.
Yay. I'm super happy. Thank you for having me. Thank you for asking and reaching out because it was a little push that I needed. And I love talking with you guys. And yeah.
Excellent. Good. We're happy to give you a gentle push when needed.
Yeah. Sometimes I do.
Yeah. And so with that, we will catch you all in the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Like what you heard? Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're ready to take the first step toward becoming a copywriter yourself, sign up for a free video training right here.